Welcome back everyone to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast, and this time we're gonna have a 1v1 on the balance preview mod between Earth and SOE Storm Panther. Let's get right into this. Earth is what? Anyway, playing as the Soviets in Fayetteville approach, and Storm Panther is playing as the Wehrmacht. Immediately going for an MG42, whereas Earth is trying to go for some Maxims, I'm guessing. Yeah, Maxims should be a pretty decent choice due to the buff, and also due to the fact that, in general, Maxims on an open map like Fayetteville can work out, indeed, quite well for you. So both engineers are just going to head towards their own respective assigned points, although it seems like Storm Panther wants to grab the center, whereas, of course, Earth wants to go for fuel. I go free mortar. Let's see who wins, Kappa. Yeah, of course. I don't know. Really depends. Of course, we have an MG42 and a Grenadier for Storm Panther, so he's actually not going free mortars. Although, free mortars would be the worst possible thing. I mean, I guess it would really fuck with the Maxims. I don't know. Okay, so combat engineers is rushing behind that truck, but unfortunately the pioneers are a bit quicker, and they managed to get in close, and those MP40s against the rifles from combat engineers, no chance at all, especially with the support of the big gun MG42 in the rear. Maxim is trying to capture this strategic point, but I'm not sure what it is going to be able to do, because he's a little outside the reach of what he should do. I mean, it's really easy to get flanked in this position. Of course, he's gonna go into the house. Yeah, but if you'd go into the house, you'd want to be protecting something. In this case, you're not really protecting anything except the strat point. Of course, the southern fuel is falling into the hands of the Germans, but the northern one might stay under the control of the Allies if this Maxim can cap it. Still, anyway, I think that it's going to be much easier for Storm Panther to defend the south because he's got actual Grenadiers that can capture and recapture points, whereas Earth with only Maxims, eventually he's just going to, well, lose one of them or two of them, and then it's going to go down. Although it looks like that both players are just kind of trying to build a bit of a, I guess, stalemate line. They're both just being a little bit of a... they're both just being a little defensive. Now, Mortar tried to get into the range of the Maxim, but unfortunately got caught, so that's not exactly what I wanted to do. In the western end of the map, the Grenadiers tried to do something, but of course, right near the base, the Maxim pretty much reigns supreme because it can just reinforce whenever the Grenadiers drop a model. So the Maxim spam is charging forward for Earth. Some of his Maxims are taking lots of fire, especially this one from Mortars. But overall, it seems like they're doing really well against the Grenadiers, pretty much on all flanks. And it seems like the Maxims, yeah, Maxims U meta confirmed, doing really well. Although, at this point, yeah, you've defeated all the troops, but, what are you gonna do now? Like, are you gonna try to... Are you gonna try to capture some points? Because of course he's able to capture the western fuel, but once Storm Panther does reorganize and comes back, he can easily recapture this fuel. I don't know. I do not know. Yeah, I would think that at this point Storm Panther can just re-grab the territory with his Grenadiers, whereas with 5 Maxims, 5, damn, that's a lot. I really don't know if Earth can sustain this for much longer, because eventually he's just gonna lose one. And when he loses one, he's got basically nothing to recruit with. And there goes his Flamer Engineer to the Pyos. Very good job from the Pyos, getting a freebie Flamethrower. Of course, they're gonna be able to torch this Maxim at this point. Maxim might be able to suppress them before... no, never mind. Just gets out of the wooden building. Don't be in a wooden building when the flamethrower starts popping. So all the Maxims are just doing their own thing. In the west, this Maxim has managed to capture the VP and can probably just put itself in the watermill house and, well, protect itself from any danger. But he's going to go for the aggressive play and capturing of the fuel point. 2 mortars on the field for Sturmpanther. We're close to that free mortar cap that he had actually boasted of earlier, which might not be that terrible of a decision, actually, with all the maxims being available to the enemy. Now, Earth has gone for the Tank Heavy Battalion Command, of course, due to his fuel superiority, slight fuel superiority. He's managed to get that quite early, and he's going for a T-70. That is definitely a good choice. He's going to be able to run around with that and cause quite a lot of pain to Sturmpanther, especially because he doesn't have any packs. You should always go for a pack as quickly as possible, even when the enemy has like millions of maxims, just in case the enemy goes for a T-70 or something like a T-34-76 a bit later. Yeah, right now the T-70 is going to be able to just torch these poor Grenadiers, just completely wipe them out, because, oh, he's going for the center with the T-70, destroying the barbed wire. Pretty good idea. Of course, the T-70 really isn't going to be able to do a lot to the troop in the building. In the buildings, you do take a lot less damage from T-70's 45mm main gun. Of course, now it manages to retreat when the Grenadiers are around. Very, very nice detail. Very good play by Sturmpanther, managing to protect his MG as it's retreating with the AT gun and the Grenadiers. Because if he had retreated the MG earlier, then the T-70 might have just been able to chase it down and kill it before it reached the base. Whereas like this, we have a pretty safe retreat for Sturmpanther. Sturmpanther still trying to get his units back to base into a more cohesive little group. And that's, of course, what he wants to do. The problem is he needs some way to deal with the T-70 and the fuel superiority of the allies. What about his own tier 3s and 4s? He still does not have the Battle Phase 2 upgrade, which with 137 fuel in the bank is, I think, a bit of a mistake. Although he might be waiting for the Tiger, it still would be more prudent to go for at least a tier 3 to get out of P4 to sort of bridge the gap. It really doesn't want to get, well, kind of caught out by lots of Soviet vehicles when he's still kind of just saving. Yeah, it just looks like he's doing pretty well, though, despite the Maxim spam. Because the Maxims, again, they're just, they're bad. Well, not really bad, but, like, yeah, they can suppress, they can get some kills on the enemy. They're definitely gonna be doing well against Grenadiers if they catch them out. In their arc of fire. But at some point, having all these Maxims is going to come back and bite you in the rear, because you don't have anything that can really capture points safely, because the Maxim can just easily get flanked when it's exposed out capturing a point. It can't sort of establish map control. It cannot in any way harm vehicles. It's incredibly vulnerable to mortars. As you can see, this one mortar is up to 20 kills and the other one is up to 12. So 32 kills for the mortar is definitely really good. It's very vulnerable to units in buildings as well, because of course, whenever it cannot suppress, it's gonna be a bit of a disadvantage, because that's its main advantage against infantry. And then here comes the Stug-E, so the new Brumbear. Well, the kind of new Brumbear. Definitely able to do something to the T-70 at this point, but T-70, yeah, was already damaged in the engine by this Grenadier. Very, very good job. Wait, this Grenadier might have been a mine. I don't know. Might have been anything. Yes, so Stug-E from the Mechanized Assault, pretty okay. I guess that does a little bit help in waiting for the Tiger. I think that Sturmpanther is fully trying to be a off-map battle player, I guess, especially because, again, there's the price increase right now on those vehicles if you do not have any buildings acquired. Although I still think it would be worth it to go for the Battle Phase 2 and 3, just to have the price reduction on the Tiger in case he needs to build more of those. And oh, it's a KV-1. So counterattack tactics, KV-1 definitely able to destroy that poor Stug. At this point, the KV-1 does work, actually. It does work a lot, only because his enemy didn't go for something like a P4 or a Panther. The KV-1 just basically becomes the king of the battlefield. Not really much that the Germans can do about it except use the 2 packs. Now, the 2 packs will definitely do a good job against the KV-1, but I wonder if Sturmpanther is going to be able to actually deploy the packs in the position where they're needed at all times. Good Ace Minefield, causing a lot of trouble, preventing the allies from recapturing that field point for a long time. Finally, Earth manages to do that. So he's got the fuel superiority again, but it's not going to last too long. Very nice cutoff move from these Pyos, and now the Grenadiers can just recapture the southern fuel. Maxim in the the watermill house, doing pretty well. Only because Sturmpanther is really not paying attention to what he's doing right now. Finally coming in with the smoke, but just very, very late on that. And yeah, he's gonna go down if he's not careful. He dies. Da da da. Unfortunate. So KV-1 is plopping away at the MG. That's only really revealing itself for the AT gun, but the AT guns are very confused about what to do. Here they come. Manages to get his first shot off and misses. Second shot doesn't miss, but really isn't going to be able to destroy the KV-1. Heavy tanks, especially the KV-1, can only be deterred by AT guns. They can't really be destroyed if the person using them is actually paying attention to what they're doing. So this is why Sturmpanther needs to be very, very, very diligent in getting out of vehicle. And he's going to have to wait for the Tiger a long, long time. He has gone for the... Oh, he's actually building the Heavy Panzer Corps, so I think he's going for a Panther to counter the KV-1. But at this point, he's so close to the Tiger, he might as well have just gone for the Tiger anyway. He does not need the Heavy Panzer Corps to get the price reduction on the Tiger. He only needs the Battle Phase Free or the Support Armored Corps. So I think that that's exactly what he should not have done. Waste a lot of fuel on the tech, and then be sort of uncertain, because then you go for the Panther, and the Panther is only really useful against vehicles. It's not useful against enemy infantry. And right now, with all the Maxims on the field, the two mortars, yes, there are going to be a pretty good asset, but there's shock troops on the field now. Finally, Earth has managed to get out some shock troops. So with the shock troops, there's really not much that the mortars can do if the shock troops can force the mortars away. So having an extra guarantee against enemy infantry and support weapons, especially with something like a Tiger, especially if then Earth is going to go with some AT guns as well, that would have been, I think, a pretty good decision. In fact, it would have been a extremely good decision. And at this point, I think the Sturmpanther is going to be forced away and get essentially triple capped for quite a while because of his lack of field presence, from not having that Tiger on the field right now, from not having the anti-infantry firepower of the Tiger. There's two shock troop squads right now on the field for Earth, which also might not be the best decision, because two shock troops at this point, they're only anti-infantry. So whenever a German vehicle comes out, this is like, what, 390, so 180 plus 600, 780 manpower. That's not really going to be able to do much. Whereas, if instead of two shock troops he had gone for one shock troop and one AT gun, he would have had at least something to deal with. The Panthers, oh! He's going for a Brum. Really now? Why not go for a Tiger then? If you're going for a Brum, why not go for a Tiger and a Stug E? He could have gone Stug E, which would have been just as expensive as the Heavy Panzer Corps, plus the Tiger, which would have dealt with the extra resources. Of course, you wouldn't have had a, Heavy Panzer Corps later build a Brum in case you need it, or a Panther in case you need it. But still, I just thought that his strategy was to go with the off-map units. And then he's like, I'm gonna go for a Brum. And now he loses a Grenadier squad. So all the vet-free Grenadiers are actually dead right now, which is really bad. And the KV-1 is able to, because there's only two AT guns and they were positioned not in a way that would cover each other, but in a way that would be, I guess, easily flankable. Yeah, that's not very good. Although, it might also not be very good for the KV-1. And the KV-1 right now, wait, what? Hold down. Oh! It can move! What? I didn't know. Okay, so it's just like, it just slows it down, I'm guessing, right? It must have some kind of drawback to have this hold down on. Also, really bad move by Relic. Oh no, okay, that's prioritized vehicles. Really bad move by Relic. So whenever the KV-1 is on hold down, it doesn't seem like it has any kind of visual cue for the enemy. Because as you can see, there's no icon above it except the prioritized vehicles. So there's no way for the enemy to tell that the KV-1's on hold down. I don't think in general there's no way, because even if you click on it, let's just go... well, I mean, I don't have the Fog of War, but whenever the KV-1's back in the line of sight of Sturmpanther, I'm just gonna go to Sturmpanther's view and try to click on the KV-1 to see what it shows me. Because normally it doesn't really show information like what abilities are active or something like that. So I think that would be a pretty bad decision by Relic. Because it's like, yeah, you'd probably, especially... Wait, no, what? Oh, I think it's bugged. Or no, it's... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, okay. Because the icon right now has that little, like, no sign above it. So I think that it's, like, active. But it isn't. It's just, like, weird. I don't know. Weird UI. Sturmpanther's still alive, but with 2 KVs on the field, not much that they can do except be a bit of a bait for the packs. Of course, the packs with Veteran C do have the target weak point for the stun, so they would be, yeah, they would be expected to use it. I don't know. Brumbader also doing lots and lots of damage to KV-1 with its HE, so that's unexpected, I guess. Second KV-1 comes in and it's gonna get shot at by the AT guns. You know, Earth, you can really flank. Like, the 2 AT guns are in the same place. You can just take your KVs and go around, with the Minesweeper, of course. You can just take the KVs, go around, flank, do your own thing, then come in with the Maxims in the center and be a bit of an annoyance with those. Looks like one of the shock troops died, but the second one did get a MG42 as an exchange. Not exactly fair. I would have had a second squad regardless, but still, nice to have that MG42. And right now, the Maxims are still doing quite well. Only about 70 VPs of a difference. Actually, no, 90 VPs of a difference between the 2 players. Mostly just because, in the meantime, the Soviets have just been losing the engagements. They've lost all of the engagements, whereas because of the fact that they had all the Maxims and all the infantry, they were able to keep a bit of a map control going, and of course here comes the KVs for a bit of a charge. They managed to, thanks to the support of the shock troops and For the Motherland, destroy one of the AT guns. The AT gun is going to go down to the fire of those KVs. Very good, 76mm gun to destroy something like an AT gun. What are you doing, KV-1? Get the fuck out. Well, looks like the bear was a little bit stupid in this case. So it loses the KV-1 to the pathfinding madness, and unfortunately that's really bad because he doesn't have a lot of manpower because he's got all the Maxims. He needs to reinforce those, and so because of that he's just gonna be lacking in manpower to get out some KVs. Oh, he's gone for a mechanized armor company and he's going for a T-3476. I would have gone for a Su-85 in this situation. I mean, it's clearly the best decision because not only because I have, you know, the God's Eye view, not only because of hindsight 2020, not only because I'm better than all of you, but, I mean, clearly, whenever you know that the enemy has a Sturmpanzer on the field, that can be countered easily by the Su-85, just plinking away at it, not even really allowing it to shoot. And whenever there's packs on the field, you don't go for a T-3476, which is extremely vulnerable to these. And especially since you know that the enemy is mechanized assault and so could go for a Tiger at any moment now. Right now, Sturmpanther decided to go for the Panther instead of the Tiger, which is also a pretty good decision whenever there's a T-3476 around. But still, T-3476 doesn't really bring anything to the table that the KV can't. At this point, of course, in the game. Because the KV really doesn't have the mobility of the T-3476. But at the same time, it doesn't really give out a lot of firepower when, at this point, it would really be necessary for Earth to get out something that can deal with the German tanks. Of course, he's still able to bring down the Germans down to 75 because the Germans are lacking infantry. And in fact, to remedy that, some assault grenadiers are called in by Sturmpanther. Not the best option, but whenever you need infantry in a hurry, I guess assault grenadiers are fine. You can send them around capping. In the south, demo charge, dangerous. So the Germans have managed to capture 2 VPs and stop the bleed. Of course, the Maxim spam somehow is still pretty much entirely alive. I believe that's 4 Maxims, yeah. Yeah, 4 Maxims, sorry for the hiccup. Yeah, 4 Maxims still alive means that the German infantry isn't going to have an easy time. It's going to be a hard fight for the Germans to deal with all these Maxims and get rid of them. A Tiger would have definitely helped in that. I still think that a Tiger would have been a much better choice than going for a Brummbär and a Panther. At least at this point. Because the Tiger even got a buff, so I guess it partially because... Wow, look at that. So the 1 engineer rifle against the flamethrower, the rifle wins. I think that the reason that Sturmpanther isn't going for a Tiger is because... Oh, he's finally gone for Su-85. Is because he's just done it so much in the patch mod that he knows that the Tiger is pretty good. So I guess he wants to try something else out. I don't know. That's like the only reason I can think of not going for a Tiger in this moment. I mean, it would be just so perfect. The Su-85 does counter the Tiger, but the Su-85 only came out now, whereas the Tiger would have been out in the field for like 5 or 6 minutes, if that had been the case. So we have that poor Maxim being forced to retreat, not really able to do much against the Panther, and T-3476 also forced to retreat. Here comes a very nice light artillery barrage on all of the Maxims, doing not a lot because it's a light artillery barrage. Panther wisely decides that it's not a good idea to charge into 3 tanks and basically just backs off. Right now the Germans' weakness is that they can't really keep their vehicles topped up and ready to go at all times, but hey, they're going to be able to avoid that problem soon enough once they get more engineers. They're also pretty close to the Tiger, and that would be, of course, pretty much a boon to the German player to have that Tiger on the field, because he would then have just a bit of extra versatility that right now his composition doesn't really allow him for. Oh, very good shot from the T-3476. Yeah, I still think that Earth, while he is a bit ahead in terms of VPs and territory, he's in a really terrible position because he needs some way to close this game, and he cannot do that right now because he really does not have a way to deal with the Panther, nor will he have a way to deal with the Tiger. Very nice flank coming in. Let's just slow it down right now. Managing to get that Su-85 killed. Brummbär, in the meantime, supporting from the rear. It's up to 38 kills, so doing really well. Panther does manage to do quite a lot of damage to that Su-85. Right now, it needs to just hunker down in the corner and turn its frontal armor facing the enemy. Not sure where Sturmpanther is microing. Looks like he's losing the MG42 up here. He's gonna lose the Panther if he does not have the Brummbär coming in and supporting. He's coming in with this pack gun to support the Panther, but still, at this close of a range, of course, the Allied tanks are going to be penetrating much more, especially with the Vet-3 from the KV, which increases the rate of fire. The Veteran C2 increases targeting and rate of fire. There goes the Ram. Very good job. That was exactly what Earth should have done with that T-3476. We're going to die anyway, so that is an efficient use of the dying unit to destroy the Panther, along with a very nice rear shot from the KV. KB, in the meantime, manages to flank around the Pak 40 75mm AT gun. At this point, it should just be charging in and trying to destroy the Pak, and another Panther is being brought in instead of a Tiger. I'm still pretty baffled by that. Anyway, in the center, we have a very nice push coming in from the Maxim. And the Maxim plus in the north, the KV. The KV does not have the secure mode, and it might not even be able to destroy the Sturmpanzer as well. Of course, what will be able to destroy the Sturmpanzer is the Su-85, but the Su-85 is going to get flanked by the Panther. The KV-1 really needs to push in there and try to support his friend. There's also a new T-34 standing by, which was, in this case, a good decision because he needed some kind of extra vehicle on the field at once that could come in and be a fast, sort of versatile little vehicle that can deal with the Panther in sort of a halfway and really deal with the Sturmpanzer and especially do a lot of damage to infantry. So the T-34-76 in this case is a really good choice. In the meantime, we have a bit of a push in the center from the Grenadiers. They're going to be trying to capture that central VP, but maybe the shock troops might be able to just destroy them before they do that. Very good job from the Sturmpanzer, managing to destroy all of the infantry and forcing them to retreat. In the meantime, Earth does not have all of his vehicles repaired, so he really doesn't have the field presence to repel the Sturmpanzer. He's still got the center VP, but there's nothing defending it, so if this random Assault Grenadier were to just sprint into there, he would be able to, yeah, he's gonna capture that pretty easily. And at this point, I still don't see how Earth is gonna be able to finish this game. The superiority for Sturmpanzer is just way too high at this point. A nice sneak move coming in from this Maxim, capturing the right side, but just a bit of a effort from the Germans is just going to be enough to pull those troops away. And now two Su-85s are in the center with the Panther, though, existing. Panther can just flank around and render both of these vehicles useless, especially if they expose the flank like that to the Panther. I'm not sure why the Panther didn't just go in at this point. Looks like Sturmpanzer is just relying on the infantry. He's got double cap going, not really being able to get a triple cap because of the sneaky Maxim, but he's still got a very, very good superiority. Su-85 is also not having the secure mode, really hurting the Soviets because the T-34-76 at this point doesn't have any veterancy. So he's not able to use that veterancy to capture the point. That's hurting Earth quite a lot. He's got the assault guns to repel the Panther, but he does not have the infantry to capture and hold the center, it seems. Looks like he's lost, finally, all of the Maxims. He's only got 2 left, so that's not very good. T-34-76 also... Ooh, Panther goes down. That was negligent from Sturmpanzer. And now he doesn't have anything. And he surrenders. Really now? I feel like he could have waited for another Panther. What a weird surrender. He could have waited for another Panther, repaired his Sturmpanzer, been a little bit more careful with the Su-85s, purchased, instead of all these Assault Grenadiers, a Panzer Grenadier and upgraded him with Panzerschrecks to help deal with both the KV-1 and the Su-85s, and just be a little bit of a annoying harasser on the flanks. That would have at least bought him enough time to, I guess, bring out a new Panther or a Tiger, and then try another push. I'm just baffled. Why didn't he go for a Tiger earlier? Why did he surrender when he could have easily won? I don't know. Whatever. It was still a test game. Still, pretty good game. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. KV-1 is definitely more viable, actually, from the patch, so I guess I was wrong. I still thought that the KV-1 was going to be really worthless, but I guess the KV-1's better now. Yeah, it really does help that they're in the counterattack tactics with the Fort of Mother Russia, because that's an ability that's very, very underrated. Pretty much doubles the damage of all your infantry, if I recall correctly. So having that there really helped the shock troops, because the shock troops already have a very, very strong DPS. So whenever you want that plus the Maxims to do a lot, of course the Maxims, they really did get a lot of kills at the end of the game, so they did pay off in part. Although I still feel like Sturmpanzer could have taken more measures to defeat the Maxims. Not just in terms of artillery, but also in terms of, I guess, unit selection. He relied for a long time on Grenadiers, which is all fine and dandy, but the Grenadiers don't really have a lot of ways to deal with Maxims. They can try to rifle grenade them out of existence, but that's very munitions intensive. So perhaps going for some more dynamic approaches like Panzer Grenadiers, or indeed earlier Assault Grenadiers, would have perhaps helped. Also, again, going for a better vehicle to deal with infantry like a Tiger would have definitely helped as well. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.